Now, in today's presentation, we're going to review a very important component to referral programs, and that's effective rewards. I'd say probably, arguably, one of the most motivating things that entices users to join a program is the reward. We find rewards, they can be something that really make or break a referral program. Now, when deciding what to offer as a reward, there's going to be four main points we're going to cover today and four main things to keep in mind. The first thing, you need to make sure you decide who's getting the reward, what you're going to be giving them, how much you should give them, and when you're going to be sending them their reward. And then also for our Referral Rock users, we're going to discuss a few different options you have when building out reward structure as well. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention, at least for today's presentation, I'm going to be using the terms members and referral a lot. That's just to clear a little confusion. I mean, we hear it all. We hear referrals, referee, referrer. Just to keep things simple, we're going to call members anyone who's sharing, and then referrals, those are just going to be those new leads that come in as a result of the member sharing. So, to hop right into it, the first thing we need to decide is who we're going to reward. Now, when deciding who gets the reward, there's going to be two main categories your program is going to fall into. We have single-sided rewards, and then we have dual-sided rewards. Now, both do have their pros and cons. Single-sided rewards, to start with that though, that's usually when you just reward the member or the referral. You're just rewarding one party. And there are referral programs that only reward the referral. Typically, though, if you're choosing between rewarding the member or the referral, we find rewarding the member over the referral can have more success. And that's really just because those members are going to be more inclined to refer others if really they're the one that's getting something for their efforts. And really, since happy customers usually are the ones that are the members, they're the first movers in this entire referral process. So an incentive to that member usually results in them actually taking action in the most new referrals. So plus, I mean, in reality, if your members are existing customers, it is proven that rewarding members or customers fosters better client relationships, improves customer retention, and also increases brand loyalty. So definitely, if you're choosing a single-sided reward, we recommend rewarding the member. Now, the other reward structure is what we call a dual-sided reward. Now, this is when both the member and the referral get a reward, and it gives both parties a reason to participate. And usually what we find is dual-sided rewards lend to the highest number of successful referrals if you're comparing it against the single-sided. One nice thing about this reward structure is it allows your members to share without making them feel or even look self-serving, since they're giving something to their friend or whoever they're sharing with as well. And in reality, I mean, if you're participating in a referral program for anyone, if you're the only person getting the reward and you ask your friend to purchase a service or a product, sometimes it can actually make you feel like you're asking your friend for a favor. And with a dual-sided reward structure, it's much less likely that your friends will feel that way. Or I'm sorry, your members will feel that way. There are also times, I think it's worth noting, that sometimes a member may not be enticed by a reward. Maybe it's too low for them, or in some very specific circumstances, some members just cannot accept a reward. So if you offer the member the ability to, in turn, give that reward to a referral as well, it helps overcome that challenge. So in a nutshell, dual-sided rewards we find tend to make the entire process just more effective. This structure, it's effective for any business type, and it's typically what we recommend to all of our clients. One thing I think worth noting, though, if you're considering a dual-sided reward structure, of course, you'll want to make sure you have enough resources to reward both parties. And in reality, you're probably going to be rewarding the member and the referral a little bit less, just because you're rewarding two people instead of one. So that, I guess that's a good transition into our next step. If you are needing to reward anyone less, usually you can remedy that with what you're offering. So there's a lot of different types of rewards. Usually we see them broken up into these categories you see on your screen here. And before I go into any of these, general rule of thumbs and things like that, for this in particular, really take an honest evaluation of your product. Think about your customers, your company, and really think about what works best for you. Um, just as an example, before I even get into best practices, think about what if you wanted to offer a discount to your members for making a referral. Now, that would be a great reward if your product type is a frequent or repeat purchase. And not only is that reward going to be useful to your members, it's also going to entice them to make a repeat purchase. So in that case, it'd be a great reward option. On the flip side, though, say you're selling a large product that's maybe not purchased frequently. Now, offering a discount to the member may not make sense in this case, just because most of your members are probably going to be past customers. And if they're not going to be purchasing another product anytime soon, they may not even have a use for a discount. And I mean, I think it's worth mentioning as well. What if they make 2 referrals or 3 referrals, or what if they make 10 referrals? Now they're going to have all these discount codes that they're never going to use. I mean, the reality is they're probably not going to make 10 referrals because they're just not incentivized by that reward. So to get into best practices, I mean, if you're referencing this graphic, a common reward that we see in most programs are cash, gift cards, merch, discounts, donations. If you are one of those companies, like I was just talking about, that has large and frequent purchases, usually we'd see member rewards as like cash or gift cards, something like that. Even donations are a good choice there. Offering something like merch or even a discount, not always effective. They can be, but sometimes, like for example, merch might not be valuable enough or enticing enough. Unless you have very valuable merchandise, then I mean, obviously that would work. In a dual-sided reward, if you're offering a reward to the referral, I mean, you could offer the referral a discount because likely they haven't purchased yet and they'd be able to use that very soon. So you'd be fine offering a discount there. And usually you can offer more in the forms of a discount than you could, for example, cash or gift cards. So that one's really up to you guys. Cash or gift cards are always good for really any structure. Cash or gift cards are going to be good. Now, if your company is one with more frequent or repeat purchases, this is actually one that can lend really well to doing things like discounts and coupons. Sometimes we even see store credit, free subscription months, things like that. And it's typically a type of reward structure that costs your company less to fulfill. So, when deciding on a reward structure for that type of company, I mean, discounts are actually a pretty good thing. And it can encourage your members to make repeat purchases, things like that. And then also it can motivate your referral to actually take an action. Whereas maybe they were thinking about purchasing your product for a while, but they never pulled the trigger. This could be something that helps them pull that trigger. Now, on that point, when talking about referrals, I'd say universally discounts tend to do well, no matter what the business type is. Gift cards usually do well as well. But when talking about referrals specifically, offering a discount, usually you're able to offer a larger reward. You are giving the referral something maybe that's exclusive, and it makes the member feel good as well because they're also offering something to this referral that's exclusive. So you can't really go wrong when it comes to discounts for referrals. In a minute, we're going to talk about how much the referral should be. But when deciding on the reward type, it's good to think about your redemption experience. So if you're going to be offering a discount or a coupon code, ask yourself, is it easy for them to use? Is it easy for them to redeem? I mean, we see sometimes they're auto-calculated at checkout. That's great. It's a great user experience. Now, when it comes to maybe rewarding smaller cash-like rewards, we find gift cards are a good way to handle that. And that's just because gift cards, they're easy to use, they're easy to redeem. People know what to do with gift cards. And I mean, contrast that with maybe using PayPal or other cash equivalents. Those typically involve a user creating an account, providing banking information. So, gift cards, great for smaller rewards, something like PayPal, ACH, bank transfers, things like that. Um, those are usually reserved for larger rewards. That'd be if you feel like your users would prefer that money in their bank account than using a gift card. And that really transitions into how much you should reward. Now, when deciding on your reward amount, this is really going to be something you're going to have to feel out. I'm asked all the time if there's a magic number, like a $25 gift card, for example. And there probably is some truth in certain numbers speaking to people more than others. But from experience with referral programs, there's really not a certain number that's more motivating than another. And that's really just because some companies can offer much more or much less than other companies could. I mean, some companies, they may offer $5 for 10 referrals, and other companies may offer $5,000 for one referral. So when deciding on the value of the reward, I would really think about your company in particular. There are some principles to keep in mind. The first thing, of course, is you need to determine how much you're willing to pay for a lead in the first place. One thing worth noting, though, referrals tend to be more valuable leads. Statistically, referrals tend to spend more over the course of their lifetime with your company, and referrals also tend to be more loyal to your brand. And when you have that number in mind of how much you're willing to pay for those leads, remember, I mean, it's probably goes without saying, keep in mind the cost of your referral subscription software, your marketing efforts, things like that. And then one thing I think that is worth noting is you do want the number to be catchy. That can go a long way. For example, one of the earlier slides, we saw an example of a give five, get five. That's easy to remember. People know, what that means. Versus, say, for example, you're offering the referral 2.5% off and the member gets $4. Not only is that confusing, but it's also hard to remember. It doesn't stand out. They might end up forgetting about your referral program. So yeah, definitely making sure the number is catchy can go a long ways. Now, on top of that, deciding just that static amount for the referral, differing the amount of the reward depending on how many referrals can actually be motivating as well. So one thing you could do is maybe pay a higher reward amount for the first referral. Now that structure can be effective if you feel like most of your members will only make one referral or maybe two. And it can really help your members to just get that first referral because it's a big reward. They really want it. On the flip side, though, you could actually increase the earning power with more referrals brought in. Now, that can be encouraging to members who maybe make multiple referrals. And this would be effective, say, if you have a customer base that's very close-knit, maybe they know a lot of other qualified leads, that'd be great. It'd encourage them to drive more than just that one referral. I'd say as a general rule of thumb, think of a number and go ahead and just start with it. You can always change your rewards. There's no need to be married to one and just experiment with whichever one works best. Now, the next thing to decide is when to send the reward. There are some best practices for this one. One thing is we want to make sure we're rewarding early on in the process. So even if that reward is small, for example, if you have a multi-step process, maybe you reward the member when the referral attends a demo. And then later again, when that deal is actually closed. And these type of reward structures can be especially effective if you have a very long sales process. It's good not to keep the member waiting too long. Now, in the graphic at the bottom, you see some statuses like, for example, pending, qualified, approved. That's what we use here at Referral Rock, just to denote those different stages throughout the sales process. So pending, that'd typically be when somebody maybe initially fills out a lead capture form. And qualified, This could be used if the lead maybe is qualified, or maybe haven't made a purchase, you mark them as qualified. Maybe they've signed a contract, but they haven't paid, attended a demo, sort of an in-between stage. And the approved typically would be that final stage in the sales process. So if you are a Referral Rock user using the qualified status, it can be effective, like I said, especially if you have a long sales cycle. Of course, we want to make sure that member stays motivated to continue sharing. We also want to make good use of things like reward tiers, milestones, especially if you feel like your members may be making multiple referrals. For example, a great example of that actually is newsletter programs and subscriber programs. In reality, you're probably not going to reward for every referral that somebody drives, but you still want to make sure you send a reward early on in the process. And when deciding on milestones, say you decide to reward on every 5th referral, 10th, 15th, 20th, keep in mind when setting those early milestones, be reasonable. Think about what most people will be able to attain and set some of those early ones attainable for them. That way, users aren't discouraged. Maybe they refer 5 and the next one's 50. And they're like, I'll never hit 50, so I'm just not going to refer anybody else. So make sure your members aren't discouraged by milestones. And then also, you can set far off goals. Maybe only few or one, or maybe no one's going to reach it. But it incentivizes people to continue sharing after that first, however many they shared. One other thing that we see actually is raffles. Maybe one referral is an entry into a raffle, and that raffle is sent once a month or something like that. We do see that sometimes. I'd say if you're going to do that, we still recommend rewarding just for making the referral too. Because a lot of people, a lot of people don't think they're going to win the raffle, or, whatever the case might be. We want to still reward those members for referring. All right, and one more thing I'll say about raffles, actually, while we're on that topic, I would say that's probably not something you'll want to do early on in the process, just because you want to make sure you're not going to overpay for a lead. Say you're offering like a laptop for a 6-month, period or something, and your top member only makes 2 referrals, and they win, and maybe in total your program only drove 30 referrals or something like that. I would say get a good handle for how many referrals you should be expecting before you start to do anything like a raffle. All right, so now we're getting into how Referral Rock helps with this. Now, everything we have mentioned so far in the presentation, Referral Rock can actually accomplish that. A lot of times, when we're talking about reward structures and best practices, we try to position our software in a way to be able to handle those. Say, for example, automation of gift cards, coupons, PayPal, things like that. Those are things Referral Rock does. And automation's nice because you don't want your members sitting and waiting too long for a reward. Referral Rock also has the ability to set up integration that maybe triggers a different type of reward. And then we also have tier-based rewards as well. So rewards that can be sent based on, maybe how many referrals somebody has made. And if you're sending rewards that maybe aren't automated or aren't fulfilled by Referral Rock, like say swag or something like that, Referral Rock also tracks how much you can give of that reward. Referral Rock also has integration with Tango, PayPal, and on the point about Tango, we find gift cards tend to be one of the most common reward types, and Tango does a really great job fulfilling that. Users can choose which gift card they want. Tango takes care of customer support. It's really great. So yeah, if you're working with a sales rep, or you need more information on Referral Rock's capabilities, or you're a Referral Rock customer, reach out to your CSM, reach out to your sales rep, or if you don't know anything about Referral Rock, you can go to referralrock.com/demo. All right, so to review, first we need to decide who's getting the reward. And like we mentioned earlier, if you can do a dual-sided reward, great. I would say that definitely performs the best. If you're doing a single-sided reward, reward the member instead of the referral. As far as deciding what to reward the referrals or what to reward your users, gift cards typically tend to be one of the most common and easy to use ways. But like I said earlier, really think about what would be the best fit for your company. As far as when to reward, like I said, reward early on in the process, even if the reward's small. If you're doing a newsletter program, anything, reward early in the process. And when deciding how much, just make sure you're not, overpaying or anything like that, but paying a high amount for that first referral is great. It increases earning potential. Um, there's a lot of different things you can do as far as how much to reward. And then as far as Referral Rock, I mean, you can really use us, leverage our software to go ahead and handle really any of those rewards.